The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys agree on compensation to trade George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Dallas Cowboys. On the surface of it, it's a pretty crazy deal because it's basically, let's just call it a third-round pick that's going to exchange hands, a couple pick swaps in between. George Pickens is a really talented wide receiver. But as we all know in sports, they say, well, okay, this guy's really talented. He's young. We'll probably get another decade if he's really good. You got him for a third-round pick, which means two things come immediately into play, Joe. Number one, I want a new contract and I want a lot of money. Number two, why did that organization didn't want to pay him and traded him for a third-round pick? Because we've watched George Pickens make sensational catches, unbelievable one-on-one catches. The ability to be a dominant number one wide receiver is probably in his toolbox. But the fact that he's on the move, which means, boy, he quit on the Steelers a couple times. He didn't feel like playing. Some odd storylines post-game here. The Steelers move on from Pickens. Let's start here before the compensation and what it means for the Cowboys. Why did the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joe, get rid of George Pickens?
Well, he's in the final year of his rookie contract, and they basically have not, well, shocker, they couldn't come to any sort of agreement, and Pittsburgh pretty much let everyone know that, yeah, we're open to trading him, which means, of course, whoever he gets traded to here in Dallas's situation, they're going to have to figure out a way to be able to sign him to a long-term deal before he even steps foot for any games, I'm sure. That's what he'll do, but it was all about attitude with him, not talent. And again, if Pittsburgh could not reel him in, we're talking about a guy that on multiple occasions quit on his team, had shouting matches with fans, going after other players. Like, he's just a loose cannon, and he's got to grow up here a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to give a guy another contract, a very lucrative contract. And what, you're not going to be able to trust him to be able to stay relevant in the game? It's a tough spot here for Dallas, but Pittsburgh, they've seen him and know him better than anybody, Donnie, and they just wash their hands with him. That's what it tells me.
Yeah, you get DK Metcalf in town. So what was the immediate thoughts? Like, okay, DK's on one side and George Pickens is on the other. Now, all of a sudden, you say you have your formidable 1-2 combo, and that's like the big three in the NBA. Hey, join three guys together, win a championship. Maybe on its way out at this point, but it seems like right now, the big three, meaning superstar quarterback, two dominant wide receivers, you're on your way to doing dominant things in the NFL. It's like, oh, you know what? We don't know who the signal caller is going to be in. We just anticipate it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, who wants to go to the Kentucky Derby and go to Egypt and take ayahuasca and then show up at training camp, which is probably what's going to happen here. But understand this too, like, you had Pickens, but he was uncomfortable in his environment, which when Mike Tomlin typically gets rid of a young wide receiver, it's really worked out in the Steelers' favor in the past. So now they're doing it once again, saying, this kid's got all the talent in the world. I can't get through to him anymore. And he wants more money. And as Mike Tomlin says, right, we want volunteers, not hostages at this point. It seems like George Pickens was more of I feel like a hostage. I don't get the football. And if I don't get the football, I don't want to play football. You get the point of that. From the move for the Dallas Cowboys to get him, you sort of like it, though, because I always like to say, okay, what's the compensation? A third-round pick. If it really works out for George Pickens and he's a good wide receiver for the next 5 years, no matter what we pay him, that was pretty fair compensation. We got what we paid for. But also understand this. George Pickens believes, Joe Ranieri, he's the true number one wide receiver on his football team. He's nowhere near that on the Dallas Cowboys. And also, you do get excited at times where it's like, okay, CeeDee Lamb's like, hey, man, great. We got another good wide receiver coming to the team. I was a wide receiver in the past. Wide receivers are built differently here. They have a lot of fun when they're winning and catching the football. They don't have a lot of fun when they're winning and don't catch the football. So also, if you are George Pickens on a contract year, it's like, I want to be paid, you're not going to have statistics like CeeDee Lamb to get paid here. How does he move from the Steelers to the Cowboys and say, hey, I'm comfortable here. I'm just happy to be here, even though I'm nowhere near the number one?
And that's going to be the interesting part, right? And Pittsburgh, listen, didn't want to deal with it because it's not like Metcalf ain't a hothead either, right? So you already brought him in, and Pittsburgh's like, can you imagine these two not getting the ball and basically going after one another? So you get rid of Pickens, and now Dallas, okay, could it be Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper of the 90s? And absolutely, could be absolutely unbeatable, but it could also be a total disaster in the locker room. The question is, who's going to take this guy under his wing and try to reel him in here emotionally, because he's a train wreck, and I never like guys who quit on their team And he did that a number of times in his first few years there in Pittsburgh.
It is crazy too, and I saw he has like one of the fourth worst percentages of completions per passes his direction. Like, what did he catch 59 last year, but had like 100+ targets? It's like, hey,
Yes.
we understand we're going to throw the football for you to make catches, and you do make sensational catches, but hey, man, you got to run. The one concept that wide receivers usually struggle with a lot, and particularly number ones, are sometimes when the play isn't designed for, like, you're the third option, it's up to you to run your route to take the safety out of play, to take the cornerback out of play, to take the linebacker out of play. And if you're not doing that, which he wasn't doing, the entire offense can break down at that point. Like, you truly have to be, yes, a number one wideout that gets the football, but be a team player when you know you're the route decoy and not the front end play here. And sometimes wide receivers are, why isn't that play coming to me at this point? George Pickens did a lot of that in Pittsburgh, but you see the statistics, you see the numbers and how talented he can be. And also understand this. He wasn't really in a true passing offense per se in Pittsburgh. It's like, hey, man, let's run 5 wides, get after it. You're going to have 100+ catches here. Let's see if he gets that type of action in Dallas, which, again, we're betting against it simply because CeeDee Lamb is the number one target there, and rightfully so. Let's switch teams here because this isn't about, hey, let me get on the field and play good football. It's about jersey numbers. We're not asking about George Pickens, what jersey number he will be, but how about the Cleveland Browns? What jersey number will Shedeur Sanders be? Been number 2 his whole life. Didn't get drafted number 2 overall, but comes in and goes, I guess I'll settle for 12. And it's not like number 2 is, Myles Garrett's number. Like, you have a veteran wide receiver that just joined the team here. And it's like, okay, I'll take 12. Are you surprised that Shedeur settled for number 12?
No, I mean, again, it's at this point, nothing is guaranteed to him. If there had been anything guaranteed to him, I can promise you he'd have made a stink about making sure he got number 2. But at this point, you got to know when to say when. So take your number and make the team, and then anything is possible from there. But right now he's got, what do they call it, Donnie? Leverage? He's got none.
Yeah, doesn't have too much leverage as a 5th-round pick, but also didn't stop somebody from their camp coming out to social media and saying, like, oh, so now the Browns are going to draft him 5th and do him dirty and not let him get number 2.
Oh, yes.
Basically, hey, we see you. That tweet/social media post was deleted from his camp here. So, it wasn't just like, yeah, man, I'm happy with 12. Now they feel like not only they were wrong by the NFL, by the Cleveland Browns, now also by the Browns not getting drafted earlier, but by him having a different number that he should not have. Amazing times, people. You got to love to see it.